I'm not gonna lie, being an adult has its perks. I can touch stuff up high, tie my shoes crazy fast, roughhouse without stopping, although maybe I should stop. Don't want to mess up the fluff of this pillow. But I do what I want, except when I need to do the things I don't want, which tends to be more often than not. As kids, we thought our lives were restricted by our parents, when in reality, we were able to do a lot of fun stuff because our parents did most of the taking care of responsibilities stuff for us. Nothing major, just the stuff that would literally keep us alive. Now, as adults, we're on our own for that. And while some of us may view taking care of the responsibilities that keep us alive as a point of pride, I say, overrated. Keeping yourself alive isn't enough to feel alive. I want to feel the way I did as a kid. Now that was feeling alive. Everything blew our minds back then and brought a certain sense of magic with it. A lot of which simply has to do with how much time we had spent on Earth at that point. If you've only experienced life for a handful of years, things are just going to hit harder. They're more novel, more fresh, more exciting. Your child brain was full of wonder, but after having been alive for so long, you have seen some things. You've been through good times, hard times, and unfortunately for some of us, perhaps been beaten down a little bit. Not that being an adult is completely bereft of joy, far from it. I mean, yeah. But sometimes something is missing from childhood that even our best attempts to relive it, such as a room full of old video games, can't always quite replicate, though they can certainly help. After all, I'm not saying that we can't still feel some of the magic we felt as kids now that we're adults. Heck, for some people, that feeling might come to you really easy, but for others, it doesn't always come as naturally or at all. A lot of it comes down to opportunity, with how much your responsibilities block you from doing what you want to do. It's hard to feel a sense of magic and wonder during a 3-hour visit to the DMV for a basic license renewal. What I always love hearing about is somebody recalling a day where they literally don't even have a single free second of time for themselves. And then they realize that's every day. I don't care how selfless you are. You need at least some time for yourself, but it can be hard to prioritize that when your default mode is, I got stuff to take care of. And it always seems like if it's not one thing, it's something else. And now is the time I'd like to invite you for a trip through what I like to call a day in the life of an adult. So first you wake up in the morning, but late, darn it, because you unplugged your phone charger for your iPad charger and forgot to plug it back in. An honest mistake with a high price to pay, because now the whole day is jacked. Time to sit down for breakfast? Nope, it'll be breakfast to go. And have fun thinking about how your kids will be late to school because of you, when you're supposed to be the adult setting the example. And as a cherry on top, you get to be uncomfortably late for work too. But well, at least while you're working, you can daydream about all the fun things you can do, not when you get back home, because there's still more stuff you gotta take care of. First, your dog needs to be let out to go to the bathroom, but won't actually poop in its own backyard. It already owns that. It needs a walk to poop on new territory. So you take it for a walk, and that pump faking rascal hunkers down 3 times before it actually poops. And then you realize you forgot poop bags. So you scurry on home to get more before somebody thinks you left dog turds on their lawn. Then you gotta make dinner, eat dinner, clean up dinner, unload the dishwasher, load the dishwasher, take a shower, you filthy animal, put your loved ones to bed, then finally, you've got some time to yourself. But real quick before we do that, just a little Google search I did on, let's call it, a rough consensus of things you should do each day. Some are doubles, but there's also some things missing, such as the specification to drink 8 glasses of water a day. But not to worry, because your old buddy, me, has got your back to save some time by combining a whole bunch of these to cross them off your list in one fell swoop. I'm an adult, nothing can stop me now, except for the laundry that I forgot to do. But after that, finally got some free time, a time we like to call the time when the world stops. Problem is, maybe you forgot how to do something fun. Maybe you feel guilty. You don't deserve to Donkey Kong. Maybe your brain just isn't trained to enjoy free time like it used to. I mean, what the heck is that? You tell a kid to have fun, they're already 3 steps ahead of you. Adults have to use their stupid adult brains to justify why it's okay, even after a day of doing nothing but taking care of responsibilities. All that said, in fairness, I should bring up that as kids, we did still have some responsibilities, most of which were given because, at least in part, it would prepare us for having responsibilities as an adult. Listen up, kids. When you're older, you are going to spend countless hours doing stuff you don't want to do. A few random chores will help you get ready for that in the process of teaching you about accountability. And boy, did they! I take out the trash like an absolute champion now. But when most people recall what sucked about being younger, there seems to be one thing we all agree really sucked: homework. Although I feel like that was more of a thing when we were teenagers in high school, and it could be debated whether or not being a teenager is still being a kid. In any case, let's talk about why homework was awful. Oftentimes, it would feel like mindless, monotonous, busy work designed to drill certain information into our heads, of which we've retained all of. What year was Abraham Lincoln born? What year did Donkey Kong come out? 1981. See, that's why they need to turn school into a video game. But even if it wasn't mindless work, then that probably meant it was something difficult, and that sucks too. And you want to talk about the Sunday scaries, you know, that feeling of dread as the waning hours of the weekend are dwindling away. As a kid, this was often compounded by the addition of a bunch of homework you still needed to finish as a result of procrastinating all weekend because crazy you were trying to actually enjoy the weekend and not do school stuff, you know, the reason the weekend exists. But I personally don't really associate homework with being a kid because I don't associate being a teenager with being a kid, and homework wasn't nearly as bad as a kid. And the teenage years are when the piles of pressure to figure out what you wanted to be started. By the way, is being a happy person not an acceptable answer? I once told somebody, when asked what I do for a living, be a loving husband, and they laughed at me. To be fair, I was trying to make them laugh, but it shows what people value. Why not just ask, what do you do to make money? And look, I get it. People are just trying to make conversation, but we're obsessed with money because we kind of have to be. Dying sucks. It creates so much pressure and stress for people, and as kids, we didn't care about it, at least not in the same way, just to use to buy comics, Slurpees, and of course, video games. Kids tend to be more carefree, and not being able to be as carefree can change a person over time. What disappoints me most about being an adult is how the way I navigate the world has changed. As a kid, I was wild. Some would even say buck wild. Many of you may still think I'm wild from these videos, but off camera, I'm actually pretty calm and chill. And yeah, it turns out I couldn't get any footage of me off camera on camera. These videos are an outlet to help me let out that energy I had as a kid. Be a goofball with no rules. I can do weird stuff without having to explain it. And then just talk about video games. Low stakes conversation about things that bring us joy. Don't get me wrong, I've accepted being an adult. All play with no work or responsibilities would be overkill, but part of me needs to still be the kid I was in as many ways as I can, and my hope for all of you is that you still have a part of your older child self that brings you joy. If not, it's never too late to start, and if so, well done, my friend. A lot of you who are parents get that joy through your own kids, and I think that's great. This is me with my niece here. I would say that I only own the PJs for this picture, except for the fact that's a lie. But there we have it, my thoughts on being a kid. I'd be curious to hear what it is that each of you misses most about being a kid. A great chance to reminisce on some good times, and I look forward to reading your answers. So with that, leave an answer down below along with any other thoughts you may have, and I will see ya in the next video.
He's the red bird, yeah, and he's talking about video games. He's the red